Hello everyone, my name is Kim. I'm with OC Habitats. Today we are partnering with Lush Cosmetics for this month's happy hour. So before we get started, I just want to remind everybody that this is a recorded meeting, so please turn off your cameras and your microphones. And if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please type them into the chat. We're going to be stopping in the middle and at the end of the presentation to answer your questions. Okay? So before I introduce our guest speakers, I just want to briefly show you the events and activities that we've done with Lush in the past. So we first started partnering with Lush in 2019 when we applied for their Charity Pot program. The grant funded our monitoring and restoration programs, particularly the monitoring equipment and restoration tools that we use, such as the ones featured here at the bottom right picture. In September 2019, we did a monitoring and restoration day with them, where we did the monitoring training in the morning, had lunch with them, and then did the restoration afterwards. And it was basically an all-day event that we did with Lush employees from places like New York, Colorado, Canada, and Los Angeles. A few months after that, in December 2019, we had the Charity Pot event at their store in Irvine Spectrum. During this day, we had the opportunity to talk to people about the native species and the many natural habitats that we have here in Orange County. During this day, we also played scavenger hunt with people that came into the store, where we hid little pictures of Orange County native species all over the store. And for those who were able to find the pictures, we gave them little seed packets of native California poppies that they could easily plant at home. This picture also shows the monitoring backpacks that we were able to buy through the grant. The picture below it shows the charity pot lotion featuring OC habitats, particularly the western snowy plover, which is one of the species that we help monitor. And finally, we have the picture in the middle shows the restoration event that we did with Lush employees in February 2020. This was the last and only event that we got to do with them last year. We were going to do an Earth Day event with them as well, but obviously that got canceled because of the pandemic, which means that this is the first event that we're doing with them since COVID. So we're really excited about this, and we're very much looking forward to doing more in-person events with them in the near future. So now I'm just going to introduce our guest speakers. We have Jake Quintanilla, who is the manager in training at the Lush store in Irvine Spectrum. And finally, we have Ruben Garcia, who is the sales associate at the same location. So Jake and Ruben, whenever you're ready.
Good morning, everybody. Hi. Thank you for having us, OC Habitat, Stacy and Kim. We really appreciate it. And we're also super excited to finally be doing an event with y'all again. I feel like it was a lot of fun last year. And if the pandemic didn't happen, we would definitely still be doing activities with y'all too. But yeah,
good morning. Thank you so much as well for having us. I'm honestly super excited, and we're getting little bodies moving and stretching as we kind of go through our lovely little charity pot. We'll talk about our lovely lotion that we have in our store that we do wonderful things with OC Habitat as well with a lot of people across the globe, and also talk about a lot of sustainability what we have in our store as well too. So with that said, we'll talk a little bit about our company first and who we are.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. So we'll start the PowerPoint. I'm going to be mainly going over kind of like the stuff that Lush does, and then Ruben's going to be following it with like more in-depth facts about Charity Pot and like the ingredients that go inside. But if you haven't visited Lush yet, we are like a head-to-toe brand. We have shampoo bars. We're actually the inventor of the shampoo bar. They're really cool. They're worth like 60 to 80 washes. We also do like bath bombs with the invention of the bath bomb, but we have like a lot of beautiful skincare and stuff for the feet. And some of our products are on that slide behind. So a lot of really fun stuff we have here. And then on the next slide, you'll be seeing some of the other stuff we have going on. Lush is a company that really like stands by its ethics and holds its ethics to a really high standard. And it really influences the products that we make, whether they're like naked products that don't have any packaging or kind of like where we source the ingredients from, if the ingredient is sourced from a really safe place. And then we're also 100% vegetarian, which is really cool. And we're gonna be going into these values a little bit more in depth right now. So on the next slide, you'll see one of the values that we have, and it's about being 100% vegetarian. So all of the products in our store are made with 100% vegetarian ingredients. We use real fruits and veggies in all of the products. So lots of like fine essential oils, butters that come from like nature, like shea butter and cocoa butter. And our products are actually 80% vegan. So we do use some honey and yogurt. And that's usually to like hydrate and moisturize the skin or to keep the product naturally preserved. But all of the ingredients are ethically sourced, which is really great too, including the honey and the yogurt. So we work really closely with the partners to see like where the ingredients are coming from and to make sure that like the soil and then the animals like the bees that are used to create the ingredients are coming from a really like sustainable, ethical place. On the next slide, you'll see some other stuff we have going on, which goes into the ethical buying. We actually have a very strict set of guidelines we follow when partnering with new partners. So just like how Lush never tests products on animals, we also make sure that our suppliers never sell products or sell their ingredients to companies that test on animals as well, just to keep it really transparent with them and also the customer. A lot of our ingredients are like fair trade and organic, and the farmers get their like fair share of wages for their yield of the crop. So we pay we pay for their product fairly. So that's kind of like reflected into the price of our products. And that's also why like Lush never does sales or never like does discounts throughout the year, because we never like discount their wages or our wages in general. And then also we're really big into like permaculture and sustainable farming. One of the sustainable farms is actually here in the United States. It's in Arizona, and it provides all of our jojoba oil, which is an oil that like really mimics our skin's natural oil. So it feels really soft and silky on the skin. And it's in everything from like lotions to even skincare as well. But Lush works with the farmers to teach them how to enrich the soil and um, just like keep the product and the ingredients sustainable, which is really great. One of my favorite stories about ethical buying is our rose. It actually comes from a family-owned farm in Turkey, where like every morning they have to wake up at like 3 or 4 o'clock to pick all the roses before the sun comes up and strips them from their oil. So it's a really like hard, laborious process, but it's for like a beautiful, like really luxurious ingredient, which is really cool too. On the next slide, you'll see some other stuff. It's about all of our stuff being handmade. And we actually have these little stickers, which is actually the person that's on there right now. And all of the products have a little sticker to show you who made it, the day it was made by, and when it's best used by too. But they're all dated just for transparency to show the customer like, this product was made on this day and it's been on the shelves for this many weeks. And then also you have this long to use the product as well. Because a lot of products are self-preserving, meaning they're like preserved naturally. So the fresh date is like the best time to use that product because you get the most benefits for like the hair or the skin within that amount of time. And a lot of our products are fresh, meaning they have to be kept in the fridge, like our fresh face masks. We actually get them once a week, and you have 3 weeks to use them. So they're really like buzzing with like lots of enzymes and fresh ingredients to do the most for your skin. And those like we literally get every week. So if we have any left over, we have to write them off, ethically dispose of them, and then we just put the new ones out. So we really have to make sure that people are like knowing about them and get them so we don't have as much waste. But yeah, everything is shipped and like eco-friendly packaging as well too, including like recycled cardboard boxes, and then also like our eco puffs are actually made out of like potato and cornstarch too. So they're actually totally edible, and they're never like made out of plastic, which is really great. Next slide has some other stuff. It's about all of our products being naked. So anything naked looks like these guys. They don't have any plastic packaging, and that's great because it really reduces the amount of plastic that we are wasting or tossing out in the trash. Even though all of our plastics that we do have our products packaged in are recycled plastics, and then we also encourage people to recycle their plastics by our black pot return program. So for every 5 of these black pots that you bring back, you get one of those fresh face masks that I was just talking about for free. So it's a really great way to help close that like loop of plastic. So when we receive those plastic pots, we actually send them back to a supplier that cleans them, breaks them down, and then melts them into more pots that you see on our shelves. So it's a really great way to keep our like footprint as minimal as possible and like reducing the carbon footprint. And then, like we said, all of these products are self-preserving, meaning that there is like no synthetic preservative in them. And we do that by like reducing the water quantity so that no bacteria is able to thrive in there. But that keeps the products like really healthy and fresh and makes them like potent, if you will. So you don't really need a lot of these products that you see that are naked because they have all those like really great ingredients in them. Some ranges, like our bath bombs and our bubble baths, are actually 100% plastic free and 100% naked. So our bath bombs, which you just drop in, and then our bubble baths, which are not liquid, they're solid. You have to crumble them up and they make bubbles, have no plastics at all. Next slide, please. Ooh, and this is actually my favorite part about working at Lush. We actually don't do any animal testing at all. So our products are tested on human volunteers, which are the people that actually make the products and like the product development team. And then also they test the products on their own kids too. So one of our products called Dream Cream, which is another lotion that we have, is actually formulated for one of our co-founders' sons who actually had eczema. And instead of testing it on animals or anything, they would just test it on their kid until like his eczema would like go away or like be a little bit better. So it's made with like lots of oat milk and rose water. So we never test on animals and only on human volunteers. And we really advocate for ending animal testing worldwide. Unfortunately, some countries you do have to like test on animals to sell. So that's why like Lush does not have any stores in China, because in China it's a law that you have to like test your products on animals for safety purposes. So that's why we don't have any stores open in China, which is a really great way that Lush is trying to like advocate to end animal testing if you want like a Lush in your country. We had a campaign a couple years ago where like Lush basically displays in our light boxes in our windows some kind of like ideas that we think are really important. And one of them was helping to end animal testing. And that was in the summer of 2018. And it was about just ending animal testing and like teaching customers like why people test on animals, why companies test on animals, and why Lush thinks it's not a good idea. But California Cruelty-Free Cosmetics Act was signed on October 2nd, 2018, the same year that we did that campaign, a couple months after, and it banned the sale of animal-tested cosmetics in California, and it was put into effect last year, January 1st, 2020. So that's really great, and we are really proud and appreciative of everybody that took like help us with that act. Next slide. Awesome. So we have a little questions corner now that we kind of like went over some of like the basic Lush stuff. Is there any questions that anybody might have that Ruben and I could help answer? Let me see.
I don't see any questions in the box right now, so I think we're good.
Ooh, awesome. Okay, and then Ruben will help take us over to the next part, which is all about a deep dive into Charity Pot. Okay?
Yeah, let's talk over to the next slide for Charity Pot. Yes, good morning. All right, so Charity Pot, it's a lovely body lotion that we saw into our store. It's very, very lovely for the skin. It smells very, very neutral. And also we do lots of really amazing things with the Charity Pot program, which we'll get to very soon here, right? Hop on over to the next slide. All right, so let's talk about this here. Charity Pot is going to be found in two different ways. We have in our lovely bath recycled pots that Jake had mentioned earlier here. We have two different sizes. Nice little to-goes and little bags of little hiking packs, or we have a little large one for a home for you. And we even just released this one to celebrate our 13th anniversary of Charity Pot called our Naked Point as well too, which is 100% plastic free for you. What I love about Charity Pot, that it's all made with fresh natural ingredients, such as freely treated cocoa butter, freely treated shea butter, even jojoba oil. So it's one of the most nourishing, creamiest and thickest like lotions we have into our shop here. But on the next few slides, we'll actually talk a little bit more about our ingredients, because not only does Charity Pot do wonderful things for nonprofits, we'll get to later on, we actually source ingredients from very special places across the world too. So let's go on to the next pot here. All right, next one. Let's talk about this cocoa butter. All right, so we're all mostly familiar with cocoa butter to be a nice, rich, lotiony feel for our body. It's really great to leave you very hydrated and really great to lock in lots of moisture. But not everyone thinks about where cocoa butter really comes from. Here at Lush, we get cocoa butter from one special place or two special places. One being in Colombia here. All the cocoa butter, especially fairly traded, means that all the proceeds we get from the farmers, we actually give back to them, depending on how much yield they give to us. And particularly, we work with this Colombian peace community. The Colombian peace community is located at the San Jose de Paco in Northwest Colombia. And what they do, they keep the world updated on any human rights issues happening in Colombia. And recently in Colombia, I mean, throughout this past few years, or throughout some time, Colombia's been going through lots of turmoil and working with the government, working with farmers directly. One of our members who works directly with Lush and also part of the peace community himself, Jesus Emilio, has says, in Colombia, there's no right to land tenure. There's practically no right to be a homeowner, no right to education, for free healthcare or any kind of decent healthcare. Education is also very bad. At the peace community, what they try to do is that they ensure that every family has a house, has a right to land, to somewhere they can grow crops to feed themselves. And their objective is to recreate a different world, a different way of living, with the love for children, adults, and old people. So definitely, we'll talk in the next slide here about what Lush does directly to help these community. So with being fair trade, meaning all the proceeds, all the yield they give for us or cocoa butter, we give all the proceeds back to them. So it helps build infrastructure in the community and helps keep the peace community nice and secure within themselves, meaning they have the money to sustain themselves and live peacefully. Jesus Emilio also mentions relationship with Lush arrived at the point where the community was losing hope with the idea of exporting products. It was becoming a little difficult to get sales across the globe. Lush gave them hope again, gave us hope, and with the close relationship between us and has been amazing at an emotional level. Meaning that we're doing more than just treating our skin. We're actually getting these ingredients to help this community stay peaceful and help can build the infrastructure as well, which is pretty amazing. Even Arlie Tubekia, another representative of the peace community, says that we get the cocoa butter directly from their storage, and that allows them to have a lot more security. In the past, they were robbed, but now they feel like they're strengthened, and production process, they don't feel like they face such risks as before, which is amazing. Keeping the peace in the community where violence has created them fear for so long is something that we're great to give back to. So we love Colombia, and we love that we're giving back a little bit of a trading pot there. So let's talk about next our jojoba oil. Jake has mentioned jojoba oil, being sourced from Arizona. It's very nice, lightweight hydration for the skin. It's very similar to how like the natural oils your bodies produce. When it gets a little warm outside, you're really nice and hydrated. But this plant is actually native to Southwest United States and Northwest Mexico, but it's a very, very sensitive plant. Like it definitely needs really, really hot, dry weathers, and it also needs to be freezing cold, and then the flowers to come out for them to actually grow the jojoba plant. And so it becomes extremely difficult, especially with climate change, for farmers to control how their crop is going to yield throughout the year. And so in Arizona, there's about 2,000 lands of abandoned jojoba fields because farmers just gave up on their crops, saying, hey, there's no purpose in having yield here because the climate is not going to be controllable enough for us to be able to go, the soil is going to be rich to sustain these plants. And so Lush actually saw that and go, this is a perfect opportunity to, change up this land, help these farmers out, help their communities again. And so let's see what Lush has done on the next slide. Yes, and what they did is called the Sustainable Lush Fund. The Lush Fund is a fund that's actually built up to help build agricultural farmland and agricultural bases of like different farmlands that are going through this type of environment situation. But particularly for jojoba oil, Lush has actually given up about 2% of all annual funds to revitalize the land, to produce jojoba oil in an environmentally responsible way, and to bring engagement and employment opportunities for the community. And they definitely work directly with one farm called Jalisco Jojoba, which is going to be great to hydrate the skin, but also give back to the particular farm who has been struggling, but also is able to bring back their soil. And the bottom picture right there, you'll definitely see a nice picture of all the jojoba farm, of the sustainable farming that's in Arizona for us too, which is pretty incredible. And it's even nice to think that, if you just take care of the environment, take care of the soil, how you're able to revitalize a part of the, part of the earth that has been falling apart and been dead for a little bit. And I'm thankfully for Lush, we're able to get back to those communities with that charity pot as well, with a little bit of jojoba oil that we not just use in charity pot, but lots of other products across the shop too. But let's talk about some of my favorite products, shea butter. Bye-bye. Yes, shea butter. Oh my gosh. Shea butter is so awesome and hydrating. And with shea butter too, it can be really thick and moisturizing, leave your skin very soft and very supple. But this one in particular, we actually work with this woman shea collective called Ohojobas. And they're based out of Bongo, Seoul, and little tongue twister here, Bongo Tanga and Ghana here, which is pretty amazing. And these are a group of women who took advantage of their environment. They saw these trees, this wild karate trees, in local areas, like, you know what, let's start picking up these little fruits here. Let's start making some shea butters from these berries, start hydrating our skin. And they use traditional techniques that they passed down through generations and generations to extract the butters and to use them for bodies and also use them for our bodies as well. So let's go ahead and go to that next slide, see what Lush has done directly with this cooperative. All right, so full thing here, we are fairly traded with the Shea Butter Cooperative. So all the proceeds we do get for the Shea Butter products, whether it be Charity Pot, any of some of our hair products, even some of our bath products too, we give all those funds back to those this group as well, the Women's Collective. This one in particular is a 400-member cooperative that provides the women with a reliable source of income all year round. Typically, these women would have to travel from town to town or city to city or space to space to find, where these plants are thriving, where to find where work is going to be needed for them to make these jojoba and use their skills, or the shea butters to use their skills. But with Lush in particular goes, you know what, we'll hire you directly to stay here in your hometown and work with your shea butters here, and we'll just give you the fair share for what you give for us. And this allows these women to stay at home with their families at the same time work to build a sustainable life for themselves, and also give back to the education, community, and to help sustain and build and grow themselves too, which is pretty incredible. So that's why, like, again, we're going back to that fairly traded. So we have the 3 different places all across the world where we're giving back to the people who are making our skin feel really incredible and nice. So, every time you get a little cherry pot fill over your skin, also know that the ingredients are coming from so many different places that have so much heart behind them, that people are working so hard and people are giving as much as they can to provide for us, which is amazing that we're able to give back to them without any discounts or any type of in betweens. So let's talk about the next one, Chris. I think we're going into our charity pot program. Okay, so although we love all of our products and all of our ingredients that we come, all the ethically sourced from, but in particular, Lush works with different partners and nonprofits across the globe, including OC Habitats, which have done amazing jobs with their funds to provide backpacks and get all the resources they need to make sure they're set to go to monitor the animals and species in the environment. But we work with 100+ nonprofits all across the world, and all the money besides taxes get donated to them. Which means that although we have all the 100+ nonprofits, we do collect all those funds in a nice big, charity pot. They're saying, metaphorically speaking. And at the end of the year, they do divide the amounts between each different nonprofits, depending on any projects or any necessities they're looking for at the current moment. So whether it's looking for resources for making brochures or getting products they need for themselves, or even just building a website or help building awareness of their nonprofit too is what we kind of go for. What I like about Lush and the Charity Pot program is that we do not give to any singular person or any paychecks. Like the money does not go to any to pay anyone off or anything like that. It goes to any supplies like renting out campsites to nonprofits, even to help establish anything like websites, like I mentioned too. And they work with different nonprofits specifically surrounding human rights, animal protections, and environmental justice, which is pretty amazing. All right, let's go to the next one here, talk a little bit more about each one. Okay, so our application process is really nice. Charity Pot grants some really small nonprofits in North America, especially Lush North America. And the applications can be found through our online granting system. Of course, we always they always ask a little bit more about your organization's purpose, well, main activities, how the governance structures work with your program, and also annual revenue as well. And of course, you always ask for a description of the project that you're planning to looking funding for. Just because we want to make sure it's going to those projects, not to necessarily anyone's paychecks, and it's very, very thorough, making sure that all the covers and details are covered through. And then the supports can also call for a few thousand dollars to a maximum of honestly $15,000 per project, depending on what you're looking for, what it is. And I believe Lush, as long as the project is very, very, along with their guidelines, they're really willing to give as much as they need to support that too. All right, next one here. Let's talk about the guidelines really quick in case you are a little interested, you have someone in mind kind of thinking about, some other projects want to kind of venture through. We do require that the annual revenue of your nonprofit is about 500,000 or less, just to make sure we're going for new, smaller young profits that need some help getting started up. And then we want to be able to challenge the mainstream opinion through public engagement and even holding governments accountable. Making sure that your nonprofit is being active and being, consciously aware of how you're engaging with in public to, bring more awareness to your problem and issue. And of course, being nonviolent is the most important. We want direct action groups, protests and demonstrations, but want to make sure that there's no violence involved. And then of course, there are initiatives that are far-reaching projects. So, not just local, but trying to reach beyond and more and more and more. That's definitely more what we're kind of looking for too. And then grassroots solutions, we need to start at the local level to get to the bigger picture. So the more local, the more grassroots you start with and start building that way, the best, of course, opportunity for you too. And of course, for Lush North America, we do look at groups who are based in North America, but if you do work overseas for any of your nonprofit purposes, we just ask that show that your nonprofit is based out of North America here. But yeah, I love it. Check out the next one here. Talk a little bit more about who we work with. Yes, one to talk about animal protection. So one in particular is our Boxer Rescue in LA, which is beautiful. So some of the proceeds of Jamaican Charity Pot go to this nonprofit here, and then they believe in Boxers deserve a chance at life, especially with the better reputation they have gotten through media and throughout the years. We've learned that these dogs are very, very gentle and they're very, very sweet, and they really just need home, really lovely homes. They're going to treat them well. I've never seen dogs in pajamas as much as seen boxers in pajamas. So I can just imagine how, it's just so cute. The homeless boxers, we help find shelter, care, and ultimately find a home throughout the efforts Boxer Rescue LA, which is nice. And work, of course, with the volunteers, veterans, and trainers to make sure that they rescue hundreds of animals every year and place them in well-matched forever homes, which is beautiful. That's what the nonprofit does, but let's see what Lush has done for the Boxer Rescue. All right, next slide here. All right, so this is what Lush has done for them. We keep the doggy dry. So funds for the charity pot actually went to weatherproofing and upgrading of the kennel houses, including spray on insulation applied to the underside of the metal roof and kennels and roof turbine vents. So keeping the puppies dry with the funds in charity pot. So, that's always giving back those little lovely animals is perfect. All right, next one, let's talk a little bit more our human rights here. We'll talk about one of my favorite nonprofits that we work with called Mi Gente. This is going to be a Latinx nonprofit based in, I believe they have a chapter in Georgia and down in the South United States. But they engage with Latinx and youth and engage with Latinx people to help get them politically involved and also get their voices heard and in a time where we feel very marginalized in our country sometimes. Particularly more recently, Mi Gente has worked with getting the Latinx vote in Georgia to help you inspire Latinx that your vote does matter and that your voice, when you do actively engage in your politics, can change the course of the country's future, which is incredible. So we do work with this nonprofit, and then you can check out a few of the quotes here on the very bottom of that slide there. You can see how the Mi Gente has helped this community again find their voice and political view and really uplifted that Latinx voice, and not just their point, but in all the United States as well. But Lush in particular had done a really great campaign last year. Go to the next slide here to check it out. Called Mi Casa de Casa. So we actually push for immigration reform here at Lush. Lush believes in the freedom of movement of people all across the world, regardless here. So wherever you want to go, we feel like you should be able to go there, to find a happy home for yourself. And in March of 2020, towards last of February into the end of the last spring, we encouraged customers to come on in. And you see those little soapy little house soaps? We actually sold little soaps that you can use to wash your hands and body, and all those proceeds, including all the proceeds of charity pot at the time, went to support 3 different Latinx inspired nonprofits that are advocating for immigration reform or who are giving back to families who have been impacted by deportation or been impacted by separation of families at the border, which is has plagued us more recently. But with the push of the soap, we actually were able to donate $127,000 to split between Mi Gente and the 2 other immigration reform nonprofits, which is pretty incredible. And at the same time, last year at the store, we encouraged customers to text, of course, text the number to help get their names onto what's it called? A little sign up sheet to get them know that we are interested in immigration reform and we want our voices heard too. Petition, that's what it is. Yeah. All right, next one here, let's talk about environmental justice. Yes, being sustainable, this one for ourselves. And let's talk about particularly OC habitats right in our backyard for us here, yeah? All right, so with OC habitats, like Kim has mentioned before, we advocate for the protecting of the environment and support sustainable purchasing, as well as making sure we monitor the environments in the environment to make sure they're nice and healthy as well. OC Habitats particularly looks at conservation efforts, rehabilitation, restoration, education, outreach, volunteering, even monitoring, and even partnering with groups who are looking for the similar goals as well to make sure, our environment looks the best it should always have been for ourselves, yeah? All right, so let's talk a little bit about Lush was done, although Kim has mentioned a little bit here at the start of the presentation. The next slide here will show us that Lush, of course, provided the little backpacks and binoculars, but also Lush has worked directly with sending volunteers to help, help remove an invasive species that was taking over a certain part of the grasslands as well here. And Jake was actually one of the people who volunteered as well with it too.
Yes.
Any kind of takeaways from that, Jake?
It was so nice. I really loved the opportunity that all like the Lushies were able to go over to OC Habitats and really help get rid of that invasive species. And I remember being told that we're getting rid of those invasive species to plant some other type of trees that some birds needed to nest in that are a little bit more rare. So I was like, oh, this is like a really good like feel good moment. I'm helping, the environment and I'm helping some animals. And I'm also just, getting a little workout in, getting rid of all those invasive species. It was a really fun time. Yeah.
It looks so awesome as well too, honestly. And I feel like I look at the photos, I'm like, it looks so beautiful. And afterwards too, like the before and afters is like gorgeous.
Yeah. And then Stacy also gave us a little tour too, and we were like looking through binoculars at some other like bird species that were in the area too. And I was like, oh, this is so cool that like we forget that there is like a lot of nature going on in the communities that we live in. Specifically here that we like live on the coast. I was like, oh, there's all these different types of bird species that live here, but we don't necessarily see them because there's not these types of spaces to be had, which is really great. And I really appreciate that OC Habitats does that for us.
And hopefully we can go out there again soon because I want to get any workout in as well for the environment, right? A little bit of both. I love it. All right, go to the next one here. I think we're gonna talk a little bit more about our eco-friendly impact. So we did talk about Charity Pot and all the partners they work with, but at the same time, we want to think more and beyond, of course, helping our environment and our people around us. But of course, we always to also do our part as individuals to make sure we leave our very little carbon footprint as possible here. So we actually have a couple of things. Of course, like Jacob mentioned, we are 100% zero waste back section. I don't know if you were going to any certain stores. I'm not going to mention any type of company names here, but you may have noticed, bath bombs and bubble bars are completely wrapped up in tons and tons of plastic that you just rip on up and throw away and just stop on the bathroom. You're done. To completely avoid that, you'll honestly 100% plastic free, self-preserving, like Jake mentioned, drop it in and nothing to throw away. Even the little bags that you may see around the shop that you put bath bombs inside are 100% made of 100% recycled paper, which are going to biodegrade really easily for you too, which is pretty nice as well. But if you just check out here, there's some bubble bars that have lots of little shimmer and glitter and fun stuff for you. All of the glitter and shimmer is going to be 100% plastic free, meaning that it's safe for your skin. It will wash off with water, so unfortunately you won't come out all glittery. And then two, like say for example, anything goes in there, eats it up, like little animals in there, goes into the ocean. It's 100% biodegradable, 100% edible, and 100% safe, which is pretty nice too. And the glitter, since it is plastic free, we use a mica-based glitter derived from seaweed. And we do use synthetic mica made from our old factories in Canada, just to avoid any issues with getting synthetic mica ethically. A little fact that I kind of learned working here is that synthetic mica used in some eyeshadows and lipsticks are sometimes sourced using child labor. Because to get synthetic mica, you have to go through little bits, smaller cracks in small parts of the earth to get little pieces out. And so the only way you can get that is through smaller hands. But it becomes really hard to find out which synthetic micas are ethically sourced and which ones are not. So to avoid that completely, let's actually just buy and mix it themselves at the factory. So it's safe for your skin, even safe to eat, also a little highlight for your skin too. All right, let's talk about this next one here. Ooh, let's talk about our eco-friendly shower. We have lots of fun little bar soaps, which are going to be really amazing to hydrate and lock and clean skin for you. And more recently, they're going to be palm oil free. All the bar soaps will recently switch over to palm oil free to reduce deforestation in the Amazon rainforest. Palm oil is definitely used. Palm oil has been really popular right now to hydrate the skin. And so a lot of farms have been taking advantage of the environment of the Amazon rainforest and deforesting acres of land to plant palm oil trees instead to grow their farms. And so to avoid that issue, we made our soaps palm oil free. Although our tops aren't 100% palm oil free, we do need to use it for some of our vegan products. Only like one or two may have it. Our soap cell, boom, none of it in there for you, which is perfect. All right, but we do have some lovely little body bars too to help hydrate the skin, which is pretty nice. All right, next one for you. Package-free shower. We have Jake has showed you little scrubby bars here. These are gonna be really great ones, about really nice ones to kind of hydrate the skin and lock in moisture. We have a few options like scrubs, like body scrubs with ground almonds, a honey inside of it, as well as a little bit of a cocoa butter to hydrate the skin. But as I use it to wash and scrub the body, you can definitely use it to definitely hydrate and use it to wash on through as well. All right, let's go on through.
Stacy did mention in the
Stacey.
chat to tell us a little bit more about research teams that find and or develop the products that are 100% eco-friendly. That's a great question, Stacy. Thank you for bringing that up. Our inventors, as well as the people that source our ingredients, work really close with the people that make our ingredients in our products. So, for example, we visit those places. So we go to Turkey to visit the rose farms, and then we go to these different places. But one of the issues that we were finding when making our soap is that a lot of palm oil is being like created by getting rid of natural biodiversity in forests, like in rainforests and like Sumatra, for example. They get rid of all of the biodiversity with the trees there, and they just plant rows and rows and rows of palm trees. And then they utilize the yield of that tree to make palm oil. But by getting rid of that biodiversity, you're really limiting the amount of wild species that are able to live there. So by us actually going out and visiting the places, we are finding that there are a lot of gaps in the cosmetics industry that Lush feels that we can make a difference in. So for example, one of the campaigns we've done in the past, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, we sold a soap called SOS Sumatra. It looked like a little orange orangutan, which is really cute. And it went to helping like purchase land back in Sumatra for those species that live there that need more land because of deforestation. And then that's really it, I think, is that Lush is just a great example of a company that knows where the ingredients are coming from and is like really thinking about the impact that it's having. Something else that's really interesting is that in South America, Lush bought a hectare of a hectare of land. We call it the Lush Zoo. It's not a zoo at all, but it's basically just a plot of land that Lush purchased that we make sure nobody ever touches, that all of the wild species and animals will just grow around there and just feed themselves. So I really pride myself on working at Lush because Lush is like super thoughtful and mindful of like the environmental impact and then also how it'll affect the nature of where our ingredients come from. But thank you, Stacey. I hope I could answer that question for you. And now Ruben will be back to talk about this slide.
I love it. I love it. And even going further with some of our package-free options, we have some really great ones called our shampoo bars. These are really good ones if you're looking for like kind of a to-goes or, you know, out and about for a little bit, you only have quick access to water to push on through to wash the hair. Surprisingly enough, one of these bars give you 60 to 90 washes to one for one of these bars here. So it's equivalent to 2 medium bottles of plastic shampoo. And just in 2019, just the sales of these alone, we Lush estimated to save 120,000 plastic bottles being thrown away into the ocean, which is pretty incredible. And these in particular, nice little inventions, because although they do have a little bit of an SLS to clean the hair and scalp, we have lots of lovely options to help gently cleanse the hair and scalp with what's called SCS, which is going to be a coconut fatty acid derivative to hydrate the hair and scalp for you too. But more particularly, if you're looking to be very sustainable, we have these lovely options to, again, offer you those nice soft washes for the hair and scalp, even conditioners to hydrate the hair. They're going to be very long lasting, very sustainable, and even packaging friendly if you do want to travel, hike a little bit, or even on road trips as well for you too, which is pretty incredible. All right, let's go to the next one here. Oh yes, you have our lotions as well if you're on the go, or in case you want something to hydrate the skin. Package-free lotions to also being plastic-free as well. On this one right here, yes, on this one here, just melt right into your body to put it right into your hands for ya. And also we have different benefits as well. Some to lock in lots of moisture, some to give like soothing aching muscles for you too. And just like the other non-packaged products, they are plastic-free, so they eventually will melt completely into nothing for ya. So you can use it all over the body, which is pretty cool. All right, let's go check out the next one here.
Ooh, and then I
Let's
saw
see.
Melissa King asked a question. Can the guy use this on his beard? I think you were referring to the shampoo bar, if I'm correct. He totally could if he wanted to, but we actually also have a beard wash in the store too that is made all creamy and there's lots of pineapple juice, so it'll help condition his beard and then also help with that skin underneath too. But definitely come on in, we can show you some stuff too.
All right, let's talk about some of my favorite products. Definitely are not wraps. Although they, you know, They're definitely not like lotions or hair care here for you. They're gonna be beautiful wraps. So you can do little tapestries along the top, of your home here. Or you can easily use them as like little hair care, little wraps around your body as well. Or we actually use them here to wrap up any of our products for little gifts you want to plan to give to anybody as well too. So these right here are lovely ways to wrap up your items in case you're looking to gift it on out, but they're actually 100% made with sustainable and recycled materials. Like this one right here looks like a nice little silky like piece here. It's actually made from a nice little plastic bottles for you. This one is a small, so it'll be one 500 milliliter plastic bottle. And then we have a medium, will be double the size, and even larger would be huge tapestries, which are made for even more. But all recycled materials, even nice little pan printed. And we even have cotton face mask as well, made of 100% cotton for you too. These are gonna be, again, really nice and warm and also really snug for the face too. But even more importantly, we're talking about where we get our cotton from and where we get these little silks from too. Because these are gonna be 100% charitable donations as well, but they go particularly to one nonprofit especially. We'll talk about that here. Next one, let's talk about rewrap. All right, so all of the knot wraps you see, the face masks included, even the cotton wraps themselves are from this organization called Rewrap. They're a self-funded social enterprise that employs about 150 women in India to handcraft artisan textiles here for you. They can create all of our, like anything you see, the fighting animal testing bags, the beautiful black aprons, even like when we see around the shop. But they employ about 80 local women, many of who are like sole incomers for their family. And the self-funded enterprise equips its underprivileged employees with sewing skills, allowing them to earn a living wage and helps feed their families and send children to school. So every time you buy a knot wrap, whether it's for a gift for somebody else or for yourself, all those proceeds are going directly to this organization to support these women, which is pretty incredible. So a lot of the times, I just buy, every time the new season comes on through, I just find my little favorites and like, oh, I'm gonna wear this one, oh, spring's coming, my Mother's Day's coming, I got for my mom. Just because they look gorgeous and they feel incredible, but at the same time, I love that, I know exactly where that money is going to and who it's helping, which is pretty incredible. Let's see the next one. I think let's talk about the future of Lush here. So of course, we talk about what Lush is and what we're currently doing, but Lush is definitely we like to consider ourselves a cosmetic revolution. Thinking of the future, what cosmetic and the industry can look like and what businesses can do to make their carbon footprint very small. And particularly, we want to be very transparent, making sure we're very clear what's in our products, where we get our ingredients from, what products do you have what's the good are made from, all that fun stuff are there. Inclusivity, meaning that everyone's included, all people are welcome always here at Lush here. Want to come in really quick, come check things out, we got you covered. Have a few questions at the front of the door, we got you covered as well. But don't ever feel like, everyone's allowed, always. Want to be innovations and innovators, being something new. We are the first to ever create the shampoo bars. And even better, we are the very first to create the bath bomb, if you didn't know. Lush actually holds the original patent of the bath bomb, created in 1989. So ever since the 80s, late 80s, we've been doing brand new stuff for us and doing things in integrity, showing who makes our products, showing our faces when we can, and doing everything we can to make sure that there's nice integrity behind our products. And of course, being active in our activism, encouraging our customers to come on through to stay active and to encouraging people to come on through to text people, be involved with their community, even being like that's coming here to be on one-on-ones with local nonprofits as well. Anything to add there? Anything to add?
I think Ruben really covered it, but yeah, I think the future of Lush is going to be super interesting to see because I feel like we've always felt like we've done it all. It's like, oh, like what's next? But Lush always thinks of something new to make that's like package free or kind of like uses new ingredients that might be synthetic ingredients but are actually the safer and more kind of like ethical version of that ingredient because of issues in like sourcing ingredients too. So I'm really excited to see what the future of Lush is going to be.
Yeah,
awesome.
I think that's maybe it for the next slide here. Maybe questions. Let's see. We're talking about our coming on in, right? Yeah, so if you do want to come on through, visit, we are open. So we have lots of fun options. If you do want to come on in, there's a few ways to shop. Of course, we always have our buy online, pick up in store. You can always look at lushusa.com, check out all the lovely products, see what we have in store, and then make a little basket. Just click on Lush Evergreen Spectrum on as you click each product there. And then we'll have a nice little order here. We'll have it ready for you. All you gotta do is come to the front, show your ID, your little order, our number, have a little face mask on, of course. And then we'd love to hand your products off for you at the front. That's one option. Another option we have at our shop is that you can always come to the front of the shop and just let us know what you like. Think like a la carte or think like little grocery store, bakery style. And you go, I just want a few bath bombs. You go, well, here's the menu, check them out. We have the option available in case you do want to keep it contactless to keep, social distance. Also to make it a quick stop if you wanted to. And we do also have in-store shopping as well. If you do want to come in store, just of course come to the front. We'll always have someone at the host to come greet you. But we'll of course let us know that you're looking for in-store shopping, and we do have to go over a couple of guidelines. Lush has been really amazing since the pandemic to make sure the employees and customers honestly feel really safe and fun inside the shop. And since I've been working at Lush, the pandemic has happened. I've honestly been still feel taken care of while I'm at work, even when I'm not at work too, which is pretty nice. But when you come into the store, we of course require face masks, CDC approved face masks that cover the nose and chin completely. And then upon entrance, we also require everyone to wash their hands with some of our bar soap here. So you're gonna still feel, get a little demo as well. But after that, you pretty much have a good time to shop around. Things might look a little different. We don't have any testers or samples if you shopped with us before. So but we are here to answer any questions, break things down for you, show you how things work, or explain how they feel. But anything unpackaged like bath bombs, shampoo bars, even like our cherry pot coin, you can always hold them over the face mask to get a nice little smell, take a nice little preview what it might be like when you actually get the full experience inside the bathroom later on in your home. There for you. But we are open in case, and a lot of different options would based on your comfortability and what you feel comfortable with coming to the store. And again, everyone is welcome. Just let us know at the front what you're looking for, and we got you covered. All right, but I think let's check out this next slide here. And I think we have Adele, thank you. Yeah, so again, we talked a little about charity pot. Let's benefit the skin to help give farmers back across the globe. Again, we talked about Colombia, we talked about Arizona, and we even talked about our women's coalition in Ghana as well. And we also want to keep the conversation going up, keeping things biodegradable. And I know and have an understanding what's inside the products we are buying and where that money is going to, and how we not benefit ourselves and our skin, but how we benefit the world around us, not just local farmers and local suppliers, but also giving back to local communities as well, right? Everything in between too. And then also understand the value of the dollar, wherever you shop and however you spend your dollars, understanding where that dollar leads to and how that influences the next thing, how that chain of events that leads to the bigger picture, and how Lush does their part to make sure, what we do and what we spend, it goes back to, where we like it to see. Awesome. All right, let's check the next slide here. And then we have our sources in case you want to check out some of the lovely things, little photos I posted, little info. We got you covered. And any questions?
Okay, so we have one question here. What made you want to work with Lush, and what do you love the most about working with the company? And I'm guessing it.
Okay, do you mind if I go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I started working for Lush 6 years ago. I was always like super into like environmental justice and kind of like animal protections, even from a young age. And I learned that some sharks were taken out of the water. This might sound like really sad, but like, shark finning is a real thing where sharks get taken out of the water, their fins get cut off, and they get thrown in the water to die and drown. And I've always thought that was a really kind of like unmoral, like really sad thing. And then one time I was like online shopping, and I saw that this company called Lush was selling a little soap, and it had a little shark fin coming out of it made out of paper. And all of the sales from that soap were going to help with like education on shark finning and helping to stop shark finning. And I always thought that was like such a cool thing that a company did that. And then a year later, they were opening a Lush in my neighborhood. I applied and I got the job. So that's how I got into Lush. And one thing I love most about Lush is definitely the like people that I work with. I love working with a lot of like-minded people, as well as the customers that come in. I also love educating customers on kind of like a little bit more eco-friendly life. And then the products are just always such a joy to use. They just make you like smell good and feel good. So that's what I like. What do you like, Ruben?
Oh, I like it. Honestly, I grew up in Central Valley. I actually born and raised in Bakersfield and lived in like a lot of my like younger adult life in Merced, California, like south of Sacramento. So a lot of the times I wasn't around a Lush very often. I didn't really know what Lush really was until I kind of moved a little bit closer down to Southern California. And I did work some retail jobs, back in the Central Valley, kind of doing my thing, teaching color guard and, teaching marching band and fun stuff up there. When I moved down here, I kind of like, there was a seasonal position available at the local Lush around me. I was like, you know what? I've heard of Lush. I know that they have really, fun stuff. I heard about their bath bombs, their bubble bars, and I know that they've done some really great things for the local, like their environment. I just heard like through friends and whatnot. And so I applied, and part of me, I love just living my life, but a part of me wants to help give back more to the people around me and the environment I'm around as well, and be able to do both. Live the life that I want to live, and also have a company that is able to support me, and also be able to support like the other people that I want to help as well is also really helpful. So after I applied, I thankfully got the job and got hired on through that after that from seasonal to a position onto the floor. And ever since, my favorite part has honestly been, like Jake mentioned, the people. There's not been a single person I've met at Lush that hasn't had the same mindset of, not doing well for, for each other, but also doing well for the world around them. And it's beyond self, honestly. It really is just beyond, how making us smell good and making us feel good. It's nice to know that, like right now, we're able to literally talk to a nonprofit who is doing something special for the world around us. That I don't think I would ever get an opportunity like this, any other job, any position I would have anywhere else. So that's what makes me love it. And I honestly can see myself staying here for, I don't know, who knows how long. Yeah. But it's been a really great experience so far. And that's why I like working here beyond just, the products and smells.
Awesome. Any other questions?
Okay, so Stacey's asking if you guys can post those links in the chat for our audience.
Ooh, for sure. We'll definitely do that. Let me grab it for you. How do I get out of here?
I have another question for you guys.
Yeah.
So I know that Lush has been around for a really long time. And when they first started, they used the word cosmetics. And I always feel like the name would be better served skincare versus cosmetics. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. Well, we are UK based, and I think in the UK, cosmetics is just like the broad term used for everything for the face. So I agree, but we do offer, some cosmetics. We do offer like eyeliner. We have a couple makeup brushes. We do offer like a highlight, a bronzer. But I think when you think of Lush, you don't even like think of like makeup. You just think of like everything for the body and like all that self-care. But I do agree the cosmetics part is a little, I think there is room for that part to grow though. So I think we might be getting more makeup in the future, which would be something really cool for everybody to try.
I want that.
Yeah.
I think Ginny has a question.
Ooh, what's up?
Yes, this was regarding the mica
Yeah.
in that one product. I was just thinking or wondering where does the seaweed come from and how is the seaweed harvested?
Ooh, excellent
Do
question.
you know that one?
So I don't know where the specific seaweed is harvested for the mica, but there is a story about the seaweed that we have called arame seaweed. It's ARAME, and it's traditionally found in Japan. And one of the stories for the ethical buying is that the divers are traditionally women, and they dive in the water and handpick all the seaweed, and then they come up and grab it. But with the synthetic mica, how they make it is they make it, I honestly have no idea how they make it, but they have like videos on the YouTube called How It's Made, and it shows you how they make other products, which is really cool, which I definitely recommend you guys all to check out if you guys have some free time later today. But they make it and then they spread out this consistency product that's really thin on a sheet of paper, and then they break it up really small, and that's what creates
That's sparkly.
all the sparkles, which is really cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I had another question about is on the coconut oil. On the text it said cacao is cacao the same as cocoa butter?
No, so there's cocoa butter, which is COCOA, cocoa.
Yeah.
That comes from the cacao tree, like you said, and there is also coconut oil too. So maybe we accidentally like misspelled it, but there is like coconut oil and there's also cocoa butter too.
Okay, so one is coconut oil and one's coconut butter.
Or like cocoa butter, like you said, the cacao butter.
Cocoa butter. Okay, cocoa butter and coconut oil. Yeah, because on the text it said CACAO, and I thought, oh, are they the same thing? There's just the same name, but no, I was just a little confused on that.
Yeah, they are different. Yeah. But all the coconut oil we use is like unrefined coconut oil, which is really great. And then all the cocoa butter comes from the peace communities, like Ruben was talking to us about.
And you were talking also about the palm oil, and the reason why Lush doesn't use the palm oil is because of the deforestation and the creation of a monoculture. Is there any concern at all about that happening with the coconut trees, or is it a little bit of a different process?
That's an excellent question. With the coconut oil in particular, we actually work with a group in Peru. Peru and Colombia that actually fairly treated coconut oil as well. We actually work with the sustainable farmers to get their coconut trees. I remember reading a little story about the coconut oil and coconut tree in particular, but I have to double check in particular where what country it's from. I just know it's in South America where we work with the farm with the coconut trees for that issue as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you said that it was in Colombia that the
Mhm.
coconut oil and all that comes from. But I was just wondering if it was if the problem that was with the palm oil in the planting of all the palm trees, was that a concern at all with the coconut trees? Is it a similar, because it's the same kind of a situation? I was wondering if it's the
Yeah.
same sort of a is it the same problem, or
I
is
think
it to where they are able to plant other things along with the coconut trees?
Yeah, I think they are able to plant other things to create more biodiversity. Like I saw a picture where they're able to plant like vanilla with some cocoa butter because those
Right.
two types of plants that grow in the wild
They
next to
can
each
work. They
other.
can work together.
Yes.
They can live
So it's
together.
kind of like
Okay.
a symbiotic relationship, which is really cool. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for those questions. I love those. Thank you.
I like that.
Any more questions? Okay, well, I believe then that's a wrap for our happy hour. Thank you for our audience for participating and being here today. Thank you, Jake and Ruben, for being here and for your presentation. If you haven't already, please visit our website at ozhabitats.org. You can also find our contact information here in the middle. You can also find us on social media at OC Habitats. Again, I want to thank everyone for being here today, and I hope you have a very nice day. Thank you.